My parents laughed when my sister inherited Grandpa's classic car collection worth millions and told me, "You're better off sticking to your mechanic job." Then Grandpa's lawyer stood up and my mom started screaming. I've always been the practical child, which is apparently another way of saying the forgettable one. My older sister Lauren was the dream. She was the one with piano lessons, debate club trophies, and the kind of college brochures that came in glossy envelopes. My parents used to leave those brochures on the kitchen counter like they were museum pieces. Meanwhile, I learned early not to ask for much. When Lauren got a new car at 16, a shiny white convertible with leather seats, I got Dad's old pedal bike with the handles falling off due to rust. When Lauren needed tutoring, my parents hired the best private instructor in the county. When I struggled in math, Dad told me to figure it out because life doesn't hand you solutions. The message wasn't even subtle. Lauren was the investment. I was the fallback. The only person who treated me like I mattered was Grandpa Frank. He lived 30 minutes away in a small brick house with a detached garage that always smelled like motor oil and old leather. Every Saturday, I'd show up around 9 in the morning and he'd already have coffee waiting and the garage doors open. Inside were cars in various states of repair, classics from another era. He didn't talk much at first. He'd just hand me a wrench and point. Over time, he started explaining things. Engines tell you what they need if you listen, he'd say. Same with people. While my parents spent weekends driving Lauren to competitions and recitals, I spent mine learning how to rebuild carburetors and polish chrome until it reflected like glass. Grandpa never called me the smart one or the talented one. He just said I had patience. "You don't rush things," he told me once. That's rare. That was enough. When Grandpa passed away last month, my parents were excited. Rather than being sad, they showed anticipation of what was about to come. They started talking about his cars constantly. "Those things must be worth a fortune now," Mom said over dinner one night, not even trying to lower her voice. Dad nodded. "Especially that red convertible. That alone has to be hundreds of thousands." Lauren chimed in too, casually mentioning, "I'm selling all that scrap once I inherit it. I'm not as dumb as Grandpa to hoard literal cash and not be able to spend it on something useful." I stayed quiet, not because I agreed with them, but because I missed Grandpa. I missed those Saturdays, the smell of oil, the quiet conversations, the way he'd nod when I got something right. The will reading was scheduled at his lawyer's office downtown. I came straight from the repair shop where I worked, still wearing my work shirt with my name stitched above the pocket. Lauren arrived 10 minutes later in a tailored coat and heels that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Mom and Dad flanked her like they always did, proud and protective. The lawyer, Mr. Caldwell, was an older man with silver hair and a calm voice that filled the room without effort. He adjusted his glasses and began. "To my daughter, Ellen, and her husband, Robert, I leave my savings account totaling $250,000. Mom smiled politely, but I could tell she expected more. Dad frowned and almost spoke up to demand more, but one look from Mr. Caldwell and he put his head down. "To my granddaughter, Lauren," Mr. Caldwell continued, "I leave my entire classic car collection, including all vehicles stored at my residence and secondary garage properties." Lauren gasped and squealed, covering her mouth as Mom grabbed her arm. "The collection has been professionally appraised at approximately $9 million. Mom actually laughed, a bright, delighted sound. Dad clapped Lauren on the shoulder. "That's my girl," he said proudly. I felt something tighten in my chest, almost like I'd been betrayed. But honestly, I should have expected this. Lauren always got the big things, and my parents didn't waste a second before reminding me that. Mom turned to me with that familiar sympathetic expression she'd perfected over the years. "Well," she said softly, though not quietly enough, "you've always been better with your hands anyway. But don't even ask for a handout from Lauren, because you won't get one." Dad chuckled. "You're better off sticking to your mechanic job. Less complicated."